Enough is enough. We need to teach this our husband a lesson. Not every woman he see he must follow. We should put pepper in that his small odogu. Yes, yes, between him legs.
In the heart of Umuokwe village, there lived a man called Chief Okoro. Chief Okoro was known in every corner of the village, not because of his wealth, but because of his love for women. Old women gossiped about him at the stream. Young girls blushed when he passed by. Even married women smiled too long when he greeted them. Chief Okoro had money. He built a big compound painted in red and white, with 2 gates and golden lion statue at the front. He wore white kaftan and carried a walking stick even though his legs were strong. He liked to show power, especially in front of women. Every Sunday, Chief Okoro would sit under the big mango tree near the village square. There, he would call every passing woman, "my queen." He would wink at some and blow kisses at others. The village boy called that mango tree the women catching tree. Chief Okoro already had 2 wives, but that didn't stop him. He said, "A man like me cannot eat from one pot forever." His wives, Mama Uju and Mama Ebere, were tired of fighting. They used to cry, shout, and threaten to leave, but Chief Okoro always calmed them with money and lies. One afternoon, a young beautiful girl named Omalicha came to live with her aunt in the village. She was just 19, fresh from the city. Her skin was fair like palm oil in sunlight, and her smile could melt anger. The moment Chief Okoro saw her, his heart started beating fast like talking drum. He called her, "My sunshine." He gave her fried meat at the market. He even sent her aunt a big bag of rice and a wrapper, pretending to be a kind uncle. But everyone in the village knew Chief Okoro's trick. Mama Nkechi, the gossip of the village, was the first to notice. She said, "That old rooster has found another chick." The news spread like wildfire. Even the village youth meeting used it to joke. "Hide your sisters. Chief Okoro is on the loose again." But this time, Chief Okoro's move would not go as planned, because Omalicha's aunt, Mama Ogadi, was no ordinary woman. She was the kind of woman who could face thunder if it insulted her. She warned Omalicha to stay away from Chief Okoro, but Omalicha was curious and foolishly flattered by his gifts. One evening, as the moon rose over the village, Chief Okoro sneaked into Mama Ogadi's compound. He wore perfume that could wake a dead goat. He knocked at the bamboo gate and whispered, "My sunshine, it is me." But instead of Omalicha, it was Mama Ogadi who opened the gate. "Chief Okoro, you DC goats," she shouted. Her voice echoed across the compound. Before Chief Okoro could talk, she poured a full basin of cold water on him. Then she grabbed her broom and chased him all the way to the village square. Children came out laughing. Women clapped. Men shouted, "Run, oh, Chief Okoro! The hunter has become the hunted." That night, Chief Okoro became the biggest joke in the village. But instead of learning his lesson, Chief Okoro made a vow. He said to himself, "I will not rest until I conquer that girl." He didn't know that his stubbornness would soon bring him shame and maybe something worse. The next morning, Umuokwe village woke up laughing about Chief Okoro's disgrace. At the market, women were selling gossip more than pepper. Even small children sang a song. "Chief Okoro, run, oh, Mama Ogadi is coming with broom, oh." But Chief Okoro didn't care. He cleaned his shoe, sprayed more perfume, and said, "Let them talk. A lion does not fear goats." He looked at himself in the mirror and smiled proudly. He said, "I am Chief Okoro, son of thunder. Women are like sugar cane. I must taste of flavors." His two wives, Mama Uju and Mama Ebere, watched him with anger and shame. Mama Uju said, "So this is the man I left my father's house for?" Mama Ebere replied, "Don't talk too much, or you will bring the third wife tomorrow." They both sighed and went to the kitchen. But something strange started happening to Chief Okoro that week. Every time he saw a beautiful woman, he would start sneezing uncontrollably, sometimes 10 sneezes in 1 minute. He thought it was ordinary catarrh, but the villagers said it is the curse of Mama Ogadi. One night, as Chief Okoro was lying down, he heard a strange knock on his door. He opened it slowly, expecting maybe one of his girlfriends. But it was an old man in red clothes holding a walking stick made of bone. The old man said, "Chief Okoro, your father warned you about your ways. Women will be your downfall." Before Chief Okoro could speak, the man disappeared like smoke. The next morning, he woke up sweating. He called his friend Odogu, the village drunk, and told him everything. Odogu laughed and said, "Forget that dream. Maybe it is hunger disturbing you." Then he poured palm wine into Chief Okoro's cup and said, "Drink, my chief. A man must enjoy life before death." By evening, Chief Okoro had forgotten the dream. He went to the village square again wearing a white hat and chewing kola nuts proudly. That was when he saw a young widow named Ngozi pass by. Her husband had just died 3 months ago. But Chief Okoro didn't see that as a problem. He whistled and said, "Fine woman, let me heal your broken hearts." Ngozi smiled shyly. She had heard about Chief Okoro, but she didn't believe all the stories. He started visiting her secretly at night, pretending to pray for her late husband's spirit. In truth, Chief Okoro's prayer was only for her heart, and I begged. Soon, people started whispering again. Mama Nkechi, the village gossip, said, "Ah, the lion has found another girl too." But what Chief Okoro didn't know was that Ngozi's late husband had been a powerful hunter, a man who swore that if anyone touched his wife after death, his spirit would rise again. One midnight, while Chief Okoro was in Ngozi's room, he heard a footstep outside. Heavy footstep. The windows shook, the lamp flickered, and a cold wind blew across the compound. Chief Okoro froze. Ngozi screamed. A voice like thunder shouted, "Who touches my wife?" Before they could move, the door burst open and a shadow walked in, tall, dark, and headless. Chief Okoro jumped out of the window with only his singlet and ran barefoot through the village shouting, "Ghost! Ghost!" Dog barked, goats ran, and everyone came out to see Chief Okoro rolling on the ground like a madman. By morning, the story has spread again. The elders said, "This man will not learn until the gods teach him by fire." Even his wives refused to serve him breakfast. Mama Uju said, "Next time, maybe a spirit will carry him to the river." But Chief Okoro refused to stop. He said, "One spirit cannot stop me. I will find another woman." He didn't know the gods were already planning his final lesson, one that would shake the whole of Umuokwe village. The sun rose slowly over Umuokwe village. Birds were singing, but for Chief Okoro, the day was not bright at all. He sat outside his compound, scratching his head and sneezing as usual. His two wives refused to talk to him. Even his goats avoided him, as if they also knew their master had no shame. He tried to greet his neighbors, but they only waved from far. Mama Nkechi shouted from her compound, "Chief Okoro, any new widow for today?" The villagers burst into laughter. Chief Okoro pretended to smile, but inside his heart, He was burning with anger and embarrassment. That evening, he went to the herbalist, Dibia Umuosu, to find out why misfortune was following him. The Dibia looked into his cowries and shook his head slowly. He said, "Chief Okoro, your ways have offended many women, and the spirits are angry." Chief Okoro asked, "What do I do now, great one?" The Dibia replied, "You must stop chasing women and go 7 days without looking at one." Chief Okoro gasped. 7 days? This is like 7 years, he cried. The Dibia smiled and said, "Then prepare for more shame." Chief Okoro promised to obey, but temptation was already waiting for him outside. On his way home, he saw a young woman washing clothes by the stream. Her wrapper was tight, and her laughter was sweet like flute sound. Chief Okoro tried to look away, but his eyes refused. He said, "Let me just greet her as a gentleman." But the time he finished greeting her, he was already sitting beside her, helping her rinse clothes. That night, strange things began to happen. Chief Okoro started hearing women's voice in his room. Even though no one was there, he heard laughter near his ear. He saw shadows dancing on his wall. When he shouted, "Who is that?" the shadow laughed louder. By midnight, Chief Okoro's compound was full of noise. His wife ran out shouting, "Help! Our husband is fighting with her." People gathered outside with lanterns. They saw Chief Okoro rolling on the ground shouting, "Leave me! All of you, leave me alone!" He was slapping invisible hands and begging unseen women to forgive him. The following day, the Dibia was called again. He came with a pot of palm wine and white chalk. He sprinkled powder around the compound and said, "Women of the spirits, let him go." Then he poured palm wine on the ground and shouted, "From today, Chief Okoro is free." Suddenly, Chief Okoro stopped shouting. He opened his eyes slowly and asked, Where am I?" The crowd laughed and said, "You are in your compound, womanizer." Chief Okoro sat up weakly and covered his face in shame. From that day, he changed. He stopped calling women my queen. He stopped wearing white kaftan and spraying perfume to the village square. Instead, he joined the church choir and started singing songs of repentance. But the villagers never forgot. Whenever they saw him pass, they would whisper, "There goes the lion that women tamed." And Chief Okoro would only smile and say, "When the gods teach you a lesson, even thunder claps for him." The story of Chief Okoro became a proverb in Umuokwe. Old women told it to their daughters, saying, "Don't let sweet tongue deceive you." And men told it to their sons, saying, "If you chase too many women, one day they will chase you in your dream." The end. Moral of the story: no matter how powerful a man thinks he is, he cannot win against the spirits of the women he disrespects. Respect, love, respect people, because pride always falls before laughter. Thanks for watching till the end. If you do enjoy my story, please subscribe and share. See you in my next story. Bye for now.